Hey guys, Dan here. When I first started in Unity, I was overwhelmed until I learned the fundamentals. This series is designed to give you a clear foundation into C#. Today we'll start with the fundamentals. What is C#? Why Unity uses C#? And the basic building blocks of every component. Game objects, classes, methods, variables, conditionals, loops, and namespaces. All right, let's get into it. C# is a modern object-oriented programming language created by Microsoft. Unity chose C# because it's powerful, but also it's easy to use. It's a high-level language, meaning it does a lot of the grunt work for you, so it takes care of garbage collection. You don't need to know what that is right now, but essentially it helps you manage memory. Other engines use different languages, like Unreal uses C++, which is a low-level language, and you have to do the management of memory yourself. Godot has its own language called GDScript. It also offers C# as an option. If you create a script in Unity, say you right-click anywhere in the project window and you go to Create, and you select a mono behavior, this script that you just created is a C# script, and you can see down here in the bottom that it's called playercontroller.cs. So that .cs signifies it's a C# script, and you can also see it has a little icon there with a hashtag or a pound symbol, whatever it is. And you can also look in the inspector and you can see a preview of the code that Unity generates for you. All right, so game objects. In Unity, everything in your scene is a game object. You can think of game objects like Lego bricks. On their own, they don't do much, but when you attach components, that's when they come alive. So, for example, a transform component gives a position, rotation, and scale. And let's take a look here. You get three main game objects in your default Unity scene: a main camera, directional light, and a global volume. Now, the main camera and the directional light are pretty traditional game objects, and they have this transform component, which is a base component for every game object. If you right click and you create an empty game object, you'll see that that game object comes by default with a transform component. And that gives you an XYZ position, a rotation, which is also XYZ, and a scale, which is also X, Y, and Z. So these three things combined define where your game object is in world space. Now, anytime you add a component, it essentially is like adding our custom C# script here. So you can just drag your script on, and because Unity created it, Unity knows that it's a component. And now this script doesn't do anything, but this is our player controller component. Unity comes with a bunch of built-in components, and you can just hit Add Component at the bottom of the inspector with any game object selected, and you'll get a list of all of the components that Unity comes with. I believe these are all pre-compiled in C++, but you can write your own components in C#, and that's, as a game developer, what you will do. You'll essentially write components in C# and attach them to game objects, and that will be the basis of how you create your game in Unity. All right, so classes and objects. Let's jump into this script here by double-clicking it and opening it in Visual Studio. With our player controller component opened in Visual Studio, you can see that at the top, in line 3, we have a declaration that says public class player controller mono behavior. Now, everything in C# starts with a class. A class is like a blueprint for a house. An object is the actual house built from that blueprint. So when we create our player controller script, Unity generates the framework for us. Now you can see here, player controller is a new class. It inherits from mono behavior. That's what this colon is, and the word mono behavior, which means that Unity can attach it to a game object. Each game object that uses this script is an object or an instance of this class. So as we dragged the player controller onto our empty game object, it became an instance of this player controller script or class. With variables, we can store data. You can think of them like labeled boxes. You can put a number, text, or even a reference to another game object inside these labeled boxes. For example, we can give our player some health and a movement speed. So here, health is public. So it shows up in the inspector and other scripts can access it. Now, I wouldn't normally write health like this as a public variable, but this is a demonstration, so I did. By contrast, move speed is private. But because we added this serialized field attribute, This variable is visible in the inspector, but it is hidden from other scripts. So a public variable is accessible by other scripts, and a private variable is hidden from other scripts. And you can see that health and move speed are both visible in the inspector on the empty game object we added our player controller to. You can even change these variables. Variables have many different types. And in our case, the basics will be string, boolean, float, and int for now. Methods are actions that your script can perform. If variables are nouns, then methods are verbs. So Unity gives us special methods like start and update that run automatically. And you can see those methods here. Let's add some code to see those more clearly in Unity. Okay, so start runs once when the object is created. Update runs every frame, which makes it perfect for movement. Here we're telling Unity to move the player forward every frame based on our move speed. So let's save our script and jump back into Unity. All right, let's delete our empty game object and right-click, go to 3D Object and select Cube. We'll call this Player. Let's drag our player controller onto the cube, and let's go ahead and play and see this in the game window. You can see our cube moves away from the screen. If I change the speed, our cube is moving towards the screen. If I look at this in the scene window, you can see this movement more clearly, moving on the blue axis, which is the vector 3 forward for the cube. Conditionals and loops let us control logic. Conditionals are like forks in the road. If this is true, do that. Loops are like running laps until you're done. Let's add some code to demonstrate. The if statement checks if the player's health is 0 or less, and if so, it prints a message. Then it destroys the game object. The for statement iterates 5 times, outputting this debug log to the console. The for loop is set up so that you initialize your counter, then you run a condition, and then you write the increment method. And this will run as long as this condition is true. If we hit play in Unity, we'll be able to see our output in the console window on the bottom. You can see that the console is outputting loop numbers 0 through 4 over and over consistently. It also has outputted that the player has entered the game. If I set the player's health to 0, it outputs that the player has died. The game object has disappeared from the scene. It's been destroyed. Once I stop, the game object returns. The game state is back to its original state. Finally, namespaces. Namespaces are like folders for your code. They keep things organized and prevent naming conflicts. Every script in Unity starts with something like using Unity Engine at the top. That's Unity's namespace, giving you access to its core features. You can also create your own namespaces if your project gets big. Now our player controller lives inside the Faktory Studios namespace. If we had another class also called player controller in a different folder, they wouldn't clash. That's your crash course in C# fundamentals for Unity, but we're just getting started. In the next video, we'll talk more about advanced C# topics and start building out some actual game mechanics. If this video helped, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next videos in this series. I've put together a free Unity project you can download right now. It's a complete coin collector game. You move a player around, you collect coins, and you keep score. It's the perfect starting point if you want to see how Unity scripts, collisions, and game logic all come together. And if you want a step-by-step path to learning Unity, check out my Unity 101 Bootcamp course. The link is in the description below. All right, I'll see you in the next one.